Guys, Avatar 1 was a heroic movie, but Avatar 2 is a revenge movie. It seems like the whole purpose of this movie was just to introduce the reef people and show us the water world of Pandora. Other than that, it is just another revenge movie where the villain keeps on trying to kill the hero. Just like Fast and Furious movies. Dom has a family and all his enemies are related to each other. Somehow they all return in each movie and try to kill him. I cannot forget Avatar 1, how James Cameron introduced the Navis, Jake Sully, Neytiri, and Eva to the world is worth praising. I still remember how it made me feel. We all know that in Avatar 1, Jake Sully turned from a spy to a hero and saves Pandora from turning into ash. The storyline was really strong. Humans had a firm purpose of extracting a valuable material from Pandora, and Navis had a strong reason to fight them protecting their motherland. But Avatar 2 shows us that the Colonel, Miles Quaritch, keeps on chasing Jake and his family for revenge. Because in part 1 of this movie, Jake Sully and his wife Neytiri killed him. He, the Colonel has no other business in Avatar 2. I know the visuals are really extraordinary in the second part, but mixing a weak storyline with amazing visuals is still a weak movie in my opinion. Not that I was not excited to watch it. I watched it because of my emotions attached to Avatar 1. James Cameron worked really hard to bring us this amazing experience of Avatar 2, but to be honest, it didn't impress me. In Avatar 2, the Colonel, Miles Quaritch, keeps on chasing Jake for revenge, but Jake tries his best to avoid those fights because he is very well aware of the consequences. Neytiri tries to convince Jake that he has to face the Colonel to end this war, but Jake is not convinced. In his search for Jake, the Colonel is able to kidnap a kid from Jake's family. Jake very well knew that the Colonel would do anything to force the kid to leak Jake's location. Hence, Jake decides to leave the forest for the good of his people and travel to a far land. He decides to leave his original home and take shelter with the reef people just to protect the forest people. Now, guys, let me be very honest. I found this part to be completely unreasonable. Jake is a human in Navi form. Before he became a Navi, he was with the Colonel. He has seen how cruel these people are and to what extent they could go to complete their mission in Pandora. Even after knowing all this, how could Jake even anticipate that the Colonel and his team won't be able to track him in Pandora? They came from another planet Earth and made home in Pandora with use of force, weapon, and technology. It's not difficult for the Colonel and his team to track Jake on the same planet Pandora. This whole thing was written just to introduce the reef people to us, and it felt like a weak move to me. Let's assume, even if they cannot track Jake, will they not kill the forest people out of anger while continuing their search for Jake? This part of deciding to leave the forest and take shelter somewhere far away is a big disappointment according to me. I know it earned a lot in box office, but I cannot say that Avatar 2 is better than Avatar 1, but I expected it to be. The sequels are usually, the directors usually try to make sequels better than the first movie, and, and given the time that Avatar 2 took to be released, I didn't expect this. Indeed, Jake got help from the reef people in his fight against the Colonel. However, they had to deal with losses too. James Cameron is a visionary. The way he created the water world in Avatar 2 is exemplary. Having their own methods, the reef people, who are called the Metkaina tribe, are very different from Navis. The whole aquatic ecosystem is their home and the fishes are their brothers and sisters. They can interact with the fish and the aquatic wildlife there just like the Navis did with the forest. Aquatic animals are really intelligent, and James was able to display this with a lot of seriousness. The writers really focused on this part and took enough time to build the base. I didn't feel like they were rushing it. The bond between Jake's son Loak and a rogue fish called Tulkun was shown in a really beautiful way. I understand that James is building Avatar or Pandora universe. He's expanding it, and this movie lays a subsequent foundation for future Avatar movies. Indeed, Avatar 2 is a great watch, but I wouldn't say it's as memorable as Avatar 1. I'm excited to see the surprise which future Avatar movies will bring. Cheers, have a nice day.